What's going on, everybody? Coming at you today with hopefully what I consider a helpful tip. I'm going to talk about two common back pain complaints that you hear of in jiu-jitsu, and then it makes total sense why. So you always hear about low back pain. There's a lot of factors that contribute to that. Some of it's just working your posture all the time inside of someone's guard, being tugged on, pulled on. Sometimes it's from you being on your back and being stacked. Sometimes it's actually from you being on your side with your legs rotated, so you're in constant rotation. And you think about it, you train every night, or how often you train, that your body's under pressure in that position. Well, you're trying to resist, so you're forcing rotation, and you probably even got a little flexion going on in your low back. So that can obviously contribute to some pain. The other pain I'm going to talk about is upper back pain. More up into the higher upper back, thoracic, low cervical spine. We're actually going to eliminate the neck on this one. But more upper thoracic, so in layman terms, you're between the shoulder blades or between the scapulas. Another reason for that, right? If you just think about it, a lot of times people like to pass, let's say, to their left, which puts you on your right side. So if you think about how often you're on your right side, if you're on the bottom, playing side control or whatever you're doing, or a half guard or whatever, keeping them off you, you're on your side. How often are you on the opposite side? A lot of times you'll find, just look at the situation. Most of the time, you spend more time on one shoulder than you do on the other, because people tend to pass the same. It's like everybody wants to go the same direction, right? So I'm going to show you just little helpful things that I've done for myself, because I'll be honest, the low back to stretch, especially if you start developing like sciatic issues, for one, you got to avoid being stacked for a while. Forced flexion is not going to help the situation out, but when we're talking about thoracic spine, upper back, that is definitely a hard to reach area. So we'll see how this video comes out. The quality's not going to be the best, I'm on a rinky-dink production here. So we'll just see how it comes out. So let me first start by saying, if you do have a problem in your back and it's persistent for quite a while, you should probably go see somebody about it. I'm not a physician, so you should probably go see someone about that. If it's it's soft tissue, sometimes you can tell the difference. If it's burning all the way down your leg, then there's probably an issue going on. Even then, it can still be soft tissue. It doesn't have to be a disc issue. But anyways, that's my little disclaimer there. So again, we'll try to see how this footage comes out. So if you had to pick anything you could do for your low back, right? There's a lot of shit you could do, actually. But what I would say focus on first, especially if your back is still sore, is focus on your hamstrings, which normally everyone in jiu-jitsu's hamstrings should be flexible. What you might notice is after you hurt your back, that your hamstrings are no longer flexible. So that's a sign. If your back isn't hurting yet, and you've noticed your hamstrings are starting to tighten up, you might be pretty soon facing a low back pain issue. So address your hamstrings. Second is your glutes. Focus on your piriformis muscle specifically, because for most of us, our sciatic nerve either runs underneath it or some even splits right between it. So if that gets stiff, it's going to create some issues too. So those are two two go-to stretches, and then you can start to look at rotation and different things, just working on stretching there. But two that you should always focus on: hamstrings and your piriformis / glutes. So I'm going to try to show you that real quick using a strap. You can use your belt, that works too. But I'm going to try to show this to you, an easy way you can do this. And then I'll kind of walk you through it. You're probably not going to see everything I'm doing. So first I'll strap this onto my foot. I'm going to keep the other leg straight. I don't have to bend it. Unless I'm getting too much back pain, then maybe I'll bend it just to take a little pressure off my back. I'm going to come down. I'm going to come up. I don't want to be like this, because this, I've eliminated my hamstring. My hamstring's in a short position. Maybe I'm stretching soleus in the back here. My hamstring's eliminated, so, oh yeah, I'm flexible. No, you're not. Get here. Breathe. Try to hold it for 3 slow breaths or 30 seconds. After 30 seconds, give a nice little knee to the chest. And then ease back into it. Okay? Pretty simple, pretty self-explanatory, right? If you're doing that, stretching should be comfortable-ish. It shouldn't be something miserable. It's not going to be the most comfortable, but it shouldn't be miserable. If you find that when you're stretching your hamstrings, you're lifting your ass cheek off the floor, scratch it, man. You're cheating yourself. Piriform is next. I'm going to lay on my back. Both knees are bent. I'm going to cross one leg over the other. With the opposite arm, I'm going to grab. I'm going to pull up and over. So essentially, if I'm pulling on my right leg, it's coming up to my left shoulder. Again, you can find better detailed stretches of this online, but this is just me giving you a quick review of how to do it. Right? Same thing, hold for 30 seconds. You'll get to a point where you're pretty flexible. Then you can kind of switch it up, like you have a triangle position, but the leg's on the outside, almost like I'm stretching for rubber guard, and I can pull it this way. Same thing, 30 seconds. I obviously don't have a problem right now, knock on wood. My neck's another story. But if you're hurting, you might find that just lifting your leg and rotating a little is going to be enough. Again, don't rotate your spine, because now something else is working. I want it all right in the butt cheek. That's what she said. So let's talk about the thoracic spine. I know I'm kind of running through this quick, so feel free to do your own homework. Or just contact me, and I'll kind of walk you through some stuff. Again, I'm not a physician. I am in the field of physical therapy, so I have some know-how of this. But I'm not going to claim to be a doctor or some bullshit. But even then, you know, a lot of stuff they teach you in physical therapy, towards our sport, it's different, man. It really is different. We need a little bit extra attention because in a way, even if you're 70 years old, you're still performing in a manner that's almost like an athlete. So you're not trying to just get back to being able to sit at your desk and type all day. You're trying to get back to actually get on the mat. So there's little finer details that can go into these things. For the thoracic spine again. So like I was saying, you can see me. If I play like this on my side a lot, think about all the pressure that's constantly going onto these ribs. There is a lot, you know, you'd probably be benefiting if you went and got a massage or saw a chiropractor. You don't necessarily have to have physical therapy until something's going a little bit out of whack or the mechanics are off. But think about all the pressure that's on your side all the time pushing. You know, you're always here, you're coming under. There's a lot of pressure. Like I was saying, most of the time you're on this side. That's probably why usually these ears get more jacked up than the other one. But we both have fucked up ears, so don't worry about it. So a way to get to that, it's a little tricky. What I like to do is I need to get my scapulas, my shoulder blades, to open up, if you will, right? What I like to do is I'll grab the same side foot with a grip like this, and I'll extend my foot, allowing my scapula to go. Or you can do this at a gym, grab a pole, and just like a cat stretch. Same thing, hold that for 30 seconds. I'm literally just trying to pull my scapula off my rib cage, because usually there's some adhesions and different shit from sitting there all the time, from knots building up that it's like glued there, right? That's why it's a harder area to stretch, and it's a harder area to fix. You talk to people that have upper back problems, and they've been there for quite a while, once they start. Another really, really helpful tip, which I don't have one with me right now, and I can't believe it, is take a tennis ball or a racket ball. Lay on your mats in the gym or at home on the carpet. I probably wouldn't do this on tile. But line the ball up, not on the spine, but between the spine and your scapula, your shoulder blade, and let the ball put pressure there and kind of grind up and down. You can even do it on the wall. The idea is you're just trying to get pressure like how a bear would scratch its back on a tree. You're just grinding it through there because you're trying to strip through those muscles to try to break up that knot, because it's just constantly building up, and you'll know it. A lot of times you'll hear people say, I think a rib's out. More of it's usually a spasm somewhere in the rhomboids. Ribs can go. I mean, it is attached to cartilage, and there's a lot of pressure, and if someone throws a knee on your belly, they might fracture a rib. But that's something you might notice a little different pain. You might notice some bruising. You might not. Again, I'm not a fucking doctor, so go see a doctor. If it's that bad, you know, and you feel like you really got to start bitching and complaining, then go see somebody about it. Doesn't mean you should stop training, because sometimes shit stiffens up more. A lot of times you can get on the mat when you have an injury, and the injury works its way out. Now, that's not me saying if you got a broken leg, just go out there and roll. Make sure you practice knee bars and heel hooks and all that good shit. But, anyways, you guys get what I'm saying, right? This is just a real basic tip, simple, stuff you can do anytime. Hamstrings, glutes for the low back. You'd be surprised how it helps. People always are. For the upper back, that little stretch, anything you can grab onto that pulls the scapula away, anything like that, that's going to help. Anything that helps. When you look at a lot of jiu-jitsu guys, right, they're not like this. They're fucking all like curled up like this. You look at some guys, they look like they're walking around like this. Like it's like they got an extra hump back there. That's because of all this all the time. So imagine the stress that's going on in your thoracic spine all the time. So even if it doesn't hurt, not a bad idea to address it. The foam roller is good, right? Which I should probably invent something. I shouldn't even say it now. The foam roller is good, but it doesn't get into the little nooks. It just hits a massive area. It's almost like they need a foam roller that's just like a little ball that you can adjust and hit specific areas. Anyways, I'm not the first person to talk about this, so I'm sure if you YouTube what I'm talking about, you'll find similar stuff. But this is stuff that's worked for me, because I have these problems all the time. I have herniated discs in my back. I have herniated discs in my neck. I'm trying to address the neck right now. You know, this isn't just from jiu-jitsu. I've had a rough life. But anyways, feel free to comment. Feel free to share my shit to other friends that might be in discomfort. Hot showers are good. Cold showers are good if you're horny. And that's about it, guys. I'll talk to you all soon. Hopefully you find this tip useful. Peace.